Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to say hi to everybody that comes in as you come into the chat. Please hit the thumbs up button. Let me know what city you're from. I see NVL Warren, you're first. And he says, now who's going to buy that mess? Streetwalkers. Okay. All right. Interesting. Very nice comment to get us started today. So, in case you're wondering what those cheeks are that are on the screen, normally I would not start my podcast with booty cheeks on the screen, but those are very nice booty cheeks, I guess, and they belong to Beyonce. Now, I'm not Beyonce's husband, so I'll admit that it's a little bit awkward to even be sitting here talking about something like this. But I was really curious to know what you guys think about this. I saw that this is Beyonce's. She sent out these pictures of her Ivy Park collection, and now these pictures may be new, they may be old. I don't know when they were put out, but I know that I was surprised to see them. Apparently, Beyonce has a deal with Adidas with the Ivy Park collection, where she is selling this clothing wear, and the reason that Adidas signed Beyonce was pretty much because they were trying, I guess, add on or look to replace Kanye West. And so I saw this, right? And I really just had to ask about this. I was really curious to know. I put it on my Instagram. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins, and there was a pretty lively conversation about it. But I want to start off by asking this. So you see Beyonce here, kind of dressed. She looks. This image honestly reminds me of the one Kim Kardashian did. I don't know if y'all remember a few years ago when Kim did the magazine cover and, and showed her bare booty. Um, do y'all think that this image is describing in one word? Do you think this image is sexy, desperate, or trashy, or what? Like, give me a one-word description that you would use to describe this image. Do you think she did too much, like over the top? And I know it's a little weird. I don't think I've probably done. I think I've done 20,000 videos online. I've done over 20,000 videos. They've gotten almost 1 billion views. Never once have I ever done one with somebody's booty cheeks on the screen. And I apologize if the booty is offensive to some of you. I just had to be honest. Y'all know me. I got to just lay it out here and ask this question, because there's also a financial conversation about this, because this is all for money. Make no mistake about it. This is a financial move. And I'm going to explain exactly what's going on and the finances behind why, poor Beyonce, feels like, I guess, at the age of, I don't know how old Beyonce is. Let me see how old. I'm Googling it now. Please hit the thumbs up button while we do that. Beyonce is 41 years old. 41 years old. So in Chicago, they got grandmas. They got 41-year-old grandmas with children, with grandchildren in middle school, like that, like Chicago. So 41 is gosh, yeah. So anyway, I'm looking at the comments. I see Lisa Sanders says degrading. Ronnie Hunter says ratchet. Cynthia says trashy. Namkia says trashy. Linus Den just says whoa. Okay. Okay. I'm looking for a comment where somebody can explain this away, help me understand it. I'm not dissing. Now, Damani's being honest. Damani said, I'm not complaining. I mean, it's Beyonce. Beautiful lady, right? Very beautiful. And in fact, let me just take this booty off the screen, because that's probably just a little bit of a distraction. Some of you either are, are really excited about it, or you're just or grossed out by it. I have no idea. But here's another. This is a better image of Beyonce in her Ivy Park collection, and here's the financial discussion going on with Ivy Park. Now, Ivy Park is a clothing line that was a partnership between Beyonce and Adidas, and according to Forbes, this clothing line has done terribly in terms, I mean, absolutely horrible in terms of sales relative to what they expected. Now, here's the thing. It's not like it didn't sell, though. Like, I think 1 year they sold $93 million worth of Beyonce gear. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, right? And then they pay her 20 million a year. So that can work. Those finances can work. But here's what Forbes is saying. Forbes says that they missed the internal sales projections by over $200 million last year. So that means that they went into the year expecting to sell, I believe it was about $250 million worth of Beyonce gear, and they sold, I think, less than 50 million. Literally, they expected $250 million, sold less than 50 million. They said, according to internal documents, they sold 40 million in 2022, which was down from 93 million in 2021. The company had projected that the line would do $250 million in 2022. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, I had to sneeze. In 2023, Adidas projects the line will do 63 million in sales, compared to an earlier projection of the year of 335 million. Adidas stands to lose $10 million in the partnership in 2022. Now, here's some math. Here's some financial math to help you understand why this investment in Beyonce is a losing proposition for Adidas, right? Because you would think about it, right? If they sell $63 million worth of gear, but they only pay her 20 million, it almost seems profitable, right? It seems like they would be making money, right? But actually, that's not the case. Signing Beyonce is just the beginning. Getting Beyonce's name and brand on board and getting her to model the clothes, that's just the beginning. At that point, you actually have to pay to manufacture the product. And then after you pay to manufacture the product, you've got to pay to market the product. And after you pay to manufacture the product and pay millions more to market the product, then you got to just hire a whole bunch of people to sell the product. You got to hire sales reps and executives and marketing people and everything else in order to really make it happen. So having Beyonce on board isn't a bad idea, but it's really the expense of executing on Beyonce that becomes the. I never would have predicted that they'd have this trouble. I would have guessed, okay, signing Beyonce, that's a good move. That's going to get you where you want to get to. Beyonce is Beyonce. I mean, she's amazing. But right now, Adidas is bleeding financially from this whole deal. Now, the other thing that you should learn from this in terms of a business lesson, and as I move on, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Stick around to the end of the video, and I'm going to share a stock that I bought that I predict and anticipate is going to do well in the future. So I'll give you a stock pick toward the end. If you want to get regular stuff like that, just go to my website at boycewatkins.com. There's a lot of free stuff there. There's a training I did on how to make money without working that you can watch for free. And also, I'm going to Los Angeles tomorrow for a 2-day Black Wealth boot camp. So if you'd like to come to the boot camp, feel free to go to boycewatkins.com. And we're going to cover my new book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. I'm going to do a deep dive training, give you 100 pages of materials. You'll get to network with other wealth builders. You will walk out of there wealthier once you're done. I guarantee it, because you'll have a clear path to building generational wealth. So here's one of the things that I'm seeing here in terms of Beyonce and her deal with Adidas. You got to be real careful about financial projections that become overly optimistic. When I was working on my doctorate in finance, we had this concept called that basically says that Andrew Lowe at MIT. I'm actually here in Boston right now, a few blocks from MIT. Professor Andrew Lowe at MIT explained that money affects the same region of your brain as cocaine. That literally you can get high on money the same way people on the show Snowfall get high off that rock. So effectively, what I'm guessing is that that getting high off that rock, that first 93 million that they made created something the same thing you get when you use a drug, which is overconfidence, irrational exuberance. Some of y'all saw this during 2020 when everybody was making easy money on the stock market. People suddenly were over investing. They were borrowing money on their credit cards to go buy more crypto. They were making a long list of horrible financial decisions that are typically made when you make a little bit of money and you think, "Oh, this is just the beginning. If we made 93 million last year, we can make 200 million next year." So Adidas made this massive projection that got them this economic high, as Montez Walls will tell you, just like sugar. Right? Sugar is a terrible drug. Man, when I found out what sugar does to your body, I said, Lord Jesus, what have they been doing to us? So they made this crazy projection, 250 million next year, 343 million the year after that. And then on top of that, at the time they made this projection, they had this guy on board. They had another super mega super duper mega star by the name of Kanye West, who actually was very profitable for Adidas. Now, as I told you when I mentioned earlier, whereas Beyonce was predicted to sell a quarter of $1 billion worth of merchandise. Kanye was selling so much that they were paying him a quarter of $1 billion to sell his Yeezy sneakers through Adidas. So they saw the success of Kanye and they said, man, if Kanye's killing it like this, then Beyonce is really gonna kill it because Beyonce is a little more corporate. She's a little easier to work with, whereas Kanye can be a little temperamental. I saw this firsthand when Kanye called me during the All Black National Convention. He actually requested to come to the convention. I kid you not. He literally was texting me all day, asking me where the convention was because he was going to take a private jet and come to the convention. And I had to talk to my team and say, okay, how are we going to deal with the security? Because this guy is going to draw a lot of attention. And I wasn't even sure if the people at the convention would really want to see him. But I said, you know what? It'd be interesting to hear what he has to say. Let's invite him in. He couldn't make it, but I talked to him a lot, and we talked about the Adidas deal and everything else. And Adidas made a horrible mistake by cutting Kanye West. That's the first thing I'll say. But at the same time, Kanye can be tough to do business with, right? So Kanye is a guy who has a lot of power and he knows his power. And the unfortunate reality, though, is that sometimes the money may not always be worth it. It's hard to determine. It's really hard to determine. So right now, Kanye is back with Adidas, but I'd be curious to see what this deal looks like long term. I'd be curious to see if Adidas re-ups with Kanye. I wonder if they are bringing Kanye back in just so they can unload all of the hundreds of millions of dollars of excessive inventory that they had to invest in order to really fulfill their partnership with Kanye, right? So I don't know. I can't tell you one way or the other. I haven't talked to Kanye in a while. I'll admit that we just, we don't see eye to eye on a couple of things, and I don't know if I'm his cup of tea. I don't know if he's mine, but we had some common ground, and we did talk for several hours, and I got some insights in terms of what he was thinking and what was going on. And I really hope for the best. I really hope that Ye goes in there and makes $1 trillion, and then I hope that he will give some percentage of that to the community so we can build some schools, build some businesses, and build up our neighborhoods. Because I think the South Side of Chicago deserves a piece of his money more than fashion shows in Paris or whatever celebrities do with their money. Now, with that said, though, with the Beyonce thing, what I saw here was just excessive overconfidence in terms of the financial projections. I think that Beyonce, if you think about it this way, and this is important as you start your businesses, a lot of you are entrepreneurs. A lot of you are going to be entrepreneurs. How many of you have a family business? Say the name of your company in the chat so other people will know you exist. How many of you are planning to start a business one day? How many of you are planning to have some wealth one day? Well, if you're going to be a wealth builder, all the wealth builders in the building, say something in the chat to let me know you exist. And so here's the thing. When you start building your wealth, when you start building your business, I encourage you to take on an ideology that is not entirely a capitalist mindset. Capitalism is built off of greed. Capitalism is built off of excess. Capitalism says we made 100 million. Now let's go make 200 million. I don't think you have to think that way. I think that this Beyonce partnership with Ivy Park could be and could have been very successful for Adidas if they just kind of slowed their roll down a little bit. Look, okay, she made 93 million. Maybe next year we try to go to 100 million, but at the very least, we should count our blessings from the bottom up instead of always counting them from the top down. Instead of trying to think that we need to make every penny on earth, how about we just be thankful for the fact that we made 93 million last year? We might get a chance to make more. And how about this? How about instead of always looking up and thinking about all the extra money we can make, we start looking down and say, well, what if she can't? What if we don't match what we did last year? What if she only makes 70 million this year? And I think that it's kind of interesting how that's what can happen to a lot of us. That's what when you see rappers go broke or when you see athletes go broke. What you got to understand is that it's mindset that typically causes this to happen. Will Smith, basically, he did the same thing. He made the same mistake early in his career that Adidas did with Beyonce. Early in Will Smith's career, he made his first album. I think it was Parents Just Don't Understand. He made more money than he'd ever made in his life. So he assumed that next year it was all the way up. Next year, it can only go up. Next year, I'm going to make twice as much as I made last year. And I got these extra deals and all things. So you know what Will did? Will talks about it. That's why I love Will Smith. I love Will Smith and Chris Rock. I'll never stop loving both of these guys. And I know Will Smith's brother Harry very well, and I like Harry a lot. They have a very intelligent family. I know Chris's brother too. Actually, I don't know Chris or Will, but I know they're brothers. And the thing is that Will made the assumption that next year was only going to get better. So you know what he did? He went out and he spent all the money for the next album before the album was even made. And guess what happened when he made the next album? Does anybody know? The album flop, kaboom, womp womp. Nobody wanted to hear that goofy comedy rap that he was doing. Everybody had turned to gangster rap and all this other stuff. The trend had changed. So with Adidas, what I see here, to me, in my view, again, I can't armchair quarterback how, if these people run their multi-billion-dollar company. But if you looked at Adidas stock has been absolutely horrible. And when they got rid of Kanye West, probably because they were afraid of the backlash from the Jewish community, I really think that was a bad move. Their stock plummeted even further. Now it's gone up a little bit recently. Actually, went up a little bit today. But in the last 6 months, it's actually up about 10%. But if you go back over the last year, it's dropped about 23%. So ultimately, I think that this sort of excess pressure that's being put on Beyonce, this excess pressure that's being put on Adidas, that's how you end up posing like that. I hate to do this because I admire Beyonce immensely, but I look at your reaction. I listen to y'all. I pay attention to what y'all talk about and what y'all say. I mean, of course, you got the outliers, the extremes, and the weirdos, but I don't listen to the weirdos. I listen to the people. I listen to intelligent Black people. And most of y'all were a little bit saddened by this image. A lot of y'all, kind of felt like a 41-year-old billionaire mother shouldn't have to pose like this in order to make money. I mean, am I crazy? Am I crazy? Am I a weirdo? I mean, really, this is where I'm doing a test. I'm doing a test to see if, okay, am I officially old? Am I just officially just so outdated that I think that I'm looking at this and I'm the only one thinking damn, Beyonce, I get it if you are a new actress and singer just trying to look for any opportunity. I get it if you're desperate. I get it if you down on your luck. And shoot, I mean, I don't know. I think almost anybody would consider pulling their booty out if they got to do it to feed their kids, right? If the kids are gonna starve to death, I don't know. I'm not gonna, pause, but I think a lot of us guys, even the guys, would be like, well, I don't want to pull my booty out, but I kind of have to because my baby's gonna starve to death. I don't know. I don't know what that. I thank God I've never had to make that kind of decision. But what I'm saying is, if Beyonce were desperate, if Beyonce were not Beyonce, maybe this could almost be rationalized. Okay. But the fact that she is a billionaire and she's technically kind of old, she's not an old lady. She's still gorgeous. Black women in their 40s are the prettiest things on earth. There are many Black women in their 40s who look better than most 25-year-olds. In fact, I when I was single and I married my wife, I was 46, 47, I think. I had actually decided, one reason I took a little bit of issue when Kevin Samuels said that 35-year-olds are leftovers and stuff like that, which I said, man, I really don't agree because I actually don't want to date a woman under 35. Women in their 40s, it's kind of like, y'all know what I'm talking about? There's something about women in their late 30s, early 40s. It's kind of like they catch their stride. They figure out what their best look is. They kind of get more comfortable in their bodies. They get more comfortable in the bedroom. So there's something really sexy about a 40-something-year-old Black woman who just knows what her best look looks like, and she's taking care of herself, staying in shape and all that. And y'all know Black don't crack. So this is nothing against Black women in their 40s. I think that many of y'all are hotter than the 28, 27-year-olds. Because believe me, I've been a rich man for a long time and famous for a long time. I easily could have dated any age group I wanted to. I specifically chose a grown-ass woman because I didn't want to feel awkward having conversations about the early 1990s and have her tell me that was when she was in elementary school. That's just a little uncomfortable for me. But my point is to say that, even despite all that, I just kind of feel like I kind of ask myself, at what point is enough? At what point do you just say, okay, you know what? Yeah, I know I can make an extra 100 million by pulling my booty out, but I just don't need that money right now. Right? That's what I'm saying. See, money, here's the thing about money. Y'all know my background. I'm a finance professor. The thing about money is that money's very powerful. Money's not good, money's not bad, money's just powerful. And the power of money is supposed to liberate you. It's like a gun. A gun is supposed to protect you. Fire is supposed to keep you warm. Medicine is supposed to make you healthy. But unfortunately, sometimes if you don't think about it the right way, money can enslave you. financial addictions can enslave you. That's why we started the first ever Black financial therapy department here in the Black Business School, where we work with the best therapists in the country to help us understand our relationship with money, to get over financial anxiety, financial trauma, things like that, because money can actually make you into a $1 million slave. And what do I mean by that? Well, to me, if you're doing something because you are so desperate to make more money, that it's something that you would never really do if you weren't being paid to do it, that's a little bit of a dilemma, I think, because that says that there is no such thing as enough. And that is the downfall of capitalism. That's the problem with capitalism. That's why you'll never hear me walking around saying I'm a Black capitalist. I'm not a Black capitalist. I'm a Black man who believes in Black business ownership. I'm a Black man who fully understands and believes in the power of money. I'm a Black man who believes every Black child should be trained on the fundamentals of wealth, real estate ownership, stock market investing, and entrepreneurship by the age 12. I'm a believer that wealth is the reason for much of your white supremacist enslavement in this society. But I am not a guy who believes in capitalism, because capitalism will have you at 41 years old posing with your booty out because you need to make an extra $100 million. No disrespect to Beyonce, but I got to call it like it is. I don't like it. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Forgive me. Some of y'all going to get mad when I say this, but I have to be honest. If my wife to me, I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't really care if anyone agrees with me on this, but I feel like my wife is as pretty to me as Beyonce. And I put that on the stack of Bibles. I put that on everything I love. If my wife and Beyonce were standing next to each other and I could choose one or the other, I would choose my wife. Because believe me, my wife got all the equipment, if you know what I mean. I'm not trying to speak in a weird way, but y'all know what I'm saying. She got all the equipment that she needs to be very attractive, and also she's got a superstar brain. She is one of a very small number of Black full professors in the country. Only 1% of the population has a PhD, and about 10% of all PhDs become full professors. So these are the things I admire about my wife. These are things that she possesses that a Beyonce doesn't have. Pretty girls are a dime a dozen. To be honest with you, pretty intelligent women are harder to find. So here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest though. If my wife, if I'd ever if I'd ever see my wife, let's say before we got married, and I was dating her, and somebody said, "Oh, hey, Doc, I saw your wife was modeling, and she took a picture like this." I can't say that she would have been my wife. I mean, I don't know. Does that sound harsh? Do I sound mean when I say that? Do I sound judgmental? I don't know. I just never really visualized. And maybe again, maybe that makes me old fashioned. I'm a Black man from the South, and I kind of think that there are some things that are for the public, some things that are better done in private. There are some things that are for the streets, some things that you save for the bedroom. Some things that you do for every man, and some things you do for that special man. And maybe that makes me old fashioned. I know that maybe there are some feminists who disagree with me. I'm sure the Lizzo fans, they think I'm a jerk because I don't think twerking is for everybody. I don't know, but at the end of the day, I would just say overall, I just hated to see this because I don't really understand why this would be necessary, and I really wonder also if this kind of imagery would be required if the company was making its sales numbers, right? If they were already making enough money. But maybe I'm speculating. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe this was something that they just were going to do regardless. Like, hey, you know what? We need you to be sexy. So we need you to go Kim Kardashian so you can compete with Kim. I don't know. But I really think as a community, we have to talk about these things because one of the things you have to understand about money is that you can't get too caught up in money to the point where you forget that you have to be able to draw a line. I mean, you have to be able to just say, like, you know what, I'm just not. I know I can make more money doing that, but I'm just not going to do it. And so I don't know what Beyonce's standard is. I don't know how Beyonce's what she's thinking about. I'm honestly wondering if maybe at 41 she's feeling a little insecure and wants to compete with the younger girls or whatever. But I'm really talking more so about you. And I encourage you, as you build your wealth, as you go make your money, and as you go find your success, think of your money like a big horse that you're riding on. And it's one thing if you're controlling the horse and you're telling the horse where to go. It can gallop, you go left, go right, go fast, go slow. You control the horse. It's another thing if the horse is controlling you. It's another thing if the dog is wagging the tail versus the tail wagging the dog. So you controlling your wealth is very different from your wealth controlling you. And I don't really know if this was Beyonce's best look. I just have to be honest with you. So anyway, and I know your opinions. I'm looking at your comments, and most of y'all don't seem to think this was something that she really had to do or could have done or should have done. I don't know though. But let me stop. Let me stop before I piss off more people. But I hope this conversation was helpful. It's really about understanding wealth and capitalism. And the power of money is interesting to me because while money can certainly liberate you, other people can also use money to cause you to do things you would normally not do. If you don't know what I mean, think about how many black people you know who do crazy, ridiculous things in order to make money, who harm people to make money, who will make music promoting self destructive lifestyles to make money, who go on TV and embarrass the whole black community to make money, or who will go and do harmful things to other people, or get up every day doing a job that they hate, wasting your life at a job that you hate because of money. Well, this is why it's important to build wealth for your kids and to teach them how to make money in multiple ways so they don't feel like they can only make money in one way. Because believe me, if you got a pretty little daughter and she goes off to LA or somewhere, I'll be in LA tomorrow for the Black Wealth Boot Camp. I know a lot of pretty little black girls in LA who would do a whole lot of really sad, interesting stuff in order to get a couple dollars. Don't put your kids in that position. It is your job to prepare them for the future. It is your job to invest for them. If you go to boycewatkins.com, that's where the $5 a day investing plan is located. This will save your child's life so that you don't have to wake up in the year 2053 and see your daughter posing with her booty out just so she can get an acting gig. All right. So that's my 2 cents. That's what I believe, and I'm sticking with it. All right, guys. I hope this was helpful. I hope this is a good conversation. Thank you for listening. Please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. If you look up the Dr. Boyce Breakdown, you can find it there. And also, if you'd like to join us for the Black Wealth Boot Camp in Los Angeles, we will be there tomorrow through the weekend. The 10th and the 11th, you can go to boycewatkins.com. We're going to cover for 2 straight days. We're going to cover my new book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, which you can also find at Amazon. A lot of the reviews have been very positive, almost all 5-star reviews. I know you're going to love it. And really, this book was designed as a blueprint for anybody that wants to build generational wealth. So never ever think that the option isn't available to you. It is available. You just have to pick it up and listen to the people that know what they're talking about. Now, the stock that I like, I mentioned to you all, I'd give you a stock that I invested in heavily. The stock that I invested heavily in, I'm looking at my list right here. I think the one that I like the most right now is Chipotle. I just think Chipotle is such a great company. The ticker symbol CMG. I have invested thousands of dollars of my family's wealth in Chipotle. So I'm not going to sit here. Nothing's guaranteed, of course. Anything can happen. But I strongly believe that as the economy recovers, Chipotle is going to go to the next level. And I think that's a good place to put some money. So that's my 2 cents. And I hope that this helps you. All right, guys, please have a good day. God bless you. And I'll see you soon. So take care now. Bye-bye. Peace.